Hi everyone, this is Sarah Fezio, and today we are going to be trying out a different kind of house paint. So, in the live stream that I did a few days ago, someone asked me, there was a comment, why do you have to use the Glidden Diamond? Why can't you use other house paint? What's the difference between, also during the stream I think someone asked, what's the difference between latex paint and acrylic paint? So I had to do some research. Basically, latex, there's no latex in any paint, okay? It says latex. For the average consumer, you assume latex paint means there's latex in the paint. Not so. So then, what is in paint that's not labeled 100% acrylic? So basically what happens is, when they're making their paint, they have the base liquid that they use. And then the paint is tinted with, in-house paint anyway, and in artist paint probably too. The paint is tinted with titanium dioxide, which is what makes white, okay? Now, the difference between a 100% acrylic house paint, right? Like I said, the Glidden Diamond is 100% acrylic, and it says that on the large gallon cans. The difference between this and, say, Glidden Premium is that the liquid, the emulsion that they use to actually put the pigments in. And in a 100% acrylic emulsion, it's the same thing that you would find in, say, Artist Loft. And there are some, basically it's the acrylic particles. It's like started being developed in the 1930s. Acrylic was started, that's when they started developing it. So, acrylic paint, a gallon of Glidden is like $25. But someone asked me, and you have to buy Glidden at Home Depot. Someone asked me, I don't have that, I only have Lowe's, can you use Valspar? So after learning about this and figuring out, hey, the difference between 100% acrylic is that there's acrylic polymers in the emulsion plus the pigment, and in the other kind of paint that's not 100% acrylic, they add vinyl or rubber emulsion plus acrylic emulsion into the paint. Okay, so I said, oh, well, vinyls, like, you know, vinyl gloves or whatever, so there's particles of that in the paint, which basically means the base liquid that's used to make your paint is different. For painting purposes on canvas, I would stick with 100% acrylic. So once I figured this out, though, I started looking into different kinds of paint, like Valspar. And apparently, even though it's not clearly labeled, because they're not thinking that we're going to put it on canvas, right? Because I called Glidden and I said, what's in the paint, you know, that doesn't make it 100% acrylic? And the lady I talked to, she was very nice. She basically didn't know. She says, I can't tell you that, right? So I did some research and I figured that out. So anyway, once I figured that out, I looked at the Valspar, because they're not, I found out acrylic paint is going to cost more because it's a better quality paint. It's closer to artist product. So the lady at Glidden was like, well, you're not going to put artist paint on the wall. Well, no, I'm not going to put artist paint on the wall, but I'm going to put house paint on a canvas. So then she's like, oh, I said, I have a YouTube channel and my viewers want to know, blah, blah, blah. So I found a Valspar Signature that after I read on their website and dig down, it is also 100% acrylic. So the misconception, and I apologize, so we're going to try it. It's supposed to be 100% acrylic. Glidden Diamond is definitely 100% acrylic. This claims to be 100% acrylic, but when I pour it, which I've already mixed my other colors, I'm using this gold color in Valspar Signature. It's in a blue can. These are testers. These testers were $3.50 at Lowe's. I'm going to pour this blue pigment, this teal pretty stained glass is the name of it, paint into this cup, and I want you to see how thick it is. That's much more like artist paint. Okay? It is so much thicker. It is like easily twice as thick as the Glidden Diamond. For our purposes, that's okay. Glidden, you don't have to mix as much water with. But we're going to go ahead and mix water into this. So I have that much paint in this cup, and I just did enough to give it a thin layer of water across the surface. So let's stir it and see how it turns out. It's much more like stirring the artist's Loft. You always want, regardless as to what paint brand you use, you have to use an interior paint. But if you use an exterior paint, they put more chemicals in it. Anti-rot, anti-fungal, anti-bug. You don't want all that. I would not want those harmful chemicals in my painting, especially if you're going to use a torch. We're not going to use a torch today. But once I added water, more water than I would to the Glidden, the Valspar is nice and runny. Okay, so that's Valspar Signature. And there is a significant difference in price. Valspar Signature is like $35 or $40 per gallon versus the $25 for the Glidden. The sample for a Glidden is $3 at Home Depot versus Valspar, and of course they covered the thing, the logo with the sticker with the color, but the Valspar comes in these little samples. They have them behind the counter. You just go up, give them your paint chips and say, I need this color in a sample. This one was $3.50, so this one's a little bit more. And I'm trying to see how much it is. It's probably about the same amount of paint. But this one does say contains crystalline silica. So silica, silicone, petroleum product, like things that, well, it's not necessarily a petroleum product, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything for certainty now. But I'm worried silica is what they put in your purse. You know, you buy a purse and there's that little packet. It's a desiccant. It'll take the water out. So we're definitely adding GAC 800 to these paints. So the colors I used were Stained Glass by Valspar. This color right here is Gold Seal. I'm using Artist Loft in white. I have almost at least 3/4 of a cup of white and Vermilion. Okay, so those are the colors we're going to use today. We're not going to add anything other than GAC 800 just because I don't want it to craze. I'm using an 18 by 24 canvas. And I believe this is for Andrea, not sure how she pronounces her name, who asked about Valspar, I think. So I'm going to add GAC 800 in the orange, the yellow, the stained glass, which is this gorgeous blue color, and the white. Quite a bit in the white. Someone asked me if you could actually pour with GAC 800. Yeah, you probably could. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. It's expensive though, just like pouring medium. And I am going to have another video coming out. My Daravan Matisse acrylic medium came in, so that's another alternative to Liquitex pouring medium. So here's my white. There's the consistency. I'm mixing that GAC 800 in there. I tried to pre-mix my paint for those of you that don't always like to see the paint mixing. There's my orange. Vermilion, my gold seal. So I'm only using 4 colors. We're not going to really coat the canvas or anything. We're just going to pour. My teal color. So I have at least 2 full cups this size of paint. That should cover. If you watched my live stream, you know we had an accident and the cup collapsed when I was flinging it. So here we go. We're doubling up the cups. What we're going to do is we are going to start with white on the bottom. Actually, let me see if I have a different container we can use. I found a mason jar I'm going to use. I don't know if that's a quart or whatever. I think it's a quart. A quart mason jar. Why did I change my mind? Because I think this is going to be enough paint. I'll be able to pour it as it thins out across the canvas. As it runs off, that's how you get cells. So we're going to fill this puppy up, and we're going to do a dirty pour flip cup. So I'm going to put white in first from up, well, the white doesn't necessarily have to be from up high. So white at the bottom. Then we're going to put in orange from up high. Hold on, let me adjust. White, green, orange from up high. Orange from up high. Yellow from up high. Hey, it's plopping. Didn't mix really well with the water. Interestingly. Yellow from up high. White. I want the white on the surface. Half the white's gone. Teal. I'm pouring from over a foot away, just so you know. White. Hope it's not a muddy mess. Orange. That's at least 2 feet away. Yellow. I'm picking it up off the canvas because okay, that's all the yellow. We're at half quart, which is a pint. More white. Oops. Oh. More teal. There's paint splattering everywhere. almost all the teals in there. Uh-oh. A little more white. There's going to be a nice brown color in there. Just enough in there to touch up if I need to. And the last of my orange. Hopefully it won't turn out all brown. Okay, so I'm going to set these cups to the side. Got yellow. So I interlaced the layers with white. It's got some really neat effects in there already. I've got paint on my canvas, not too concerned about that. My canvas is very large, so if I have to scoop stuff off the bottom, I don't know how well that's going to work, but set that up there. That is, hopefully you can see, almost 3/4 of a quart. So 1.5 pints, I believe. Okay, that's not good. My little thing needs to stay on there. Those are magnets holding my stir sticks up there, coated in plastic. We'll remove these paints. We don't want any dirt or paint on them. Okay. Okay, please don't let me make a total mess of this. Okay, I've got it on the canvas. It's leaking out. I'm just going to set it there while I adjust. Make sure you can still see the screen. Okay, you can see the whole canvas, and I'm just going to lift. We're not going to let it rest too much. And that's because I layered the white in there. Okay, you can see the edge of the jar. It's gorgeous. I could probably maybe do something with that. All right, find a place for my jar without dropping everything. And here we go. We do definitely have cells. I do not want that yellow to run off. I'm going to just, not all of it, just a little bit of it run off. Okay, come on. Gonna go back down, get the bottom edge. Come on. Okay, back up. And I have some weird thing in here. Not too bad. Not too bad. Just one little spot right here. The corners don't have any paint. But do you notice it? I think, and then we have gorgeous cells. I'm just covering the edge. And while I do that, look, there's a there's a little bit of a pit there. I want that color. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Y'all, if you could see what ran off. Look at that. I need a red. I have gorgeous colors on my hand. It's gorgeous. Watch this. Sorry for my head in the shot. Those are air bubbles. I didn't need a torch or anything to get my air bubbles off. Okay, I don't like that color there. I need to put something a little bit more similar than that in there. Okay, it's dripping off the side. I'm actually going to take a look in the camera just to see what it, hold on. This is the benefit of using a ton of paint, guys. I definitely had enough for a second canvas, but here's the thing. You want to have enough to be able to run your paint all over. Then you get these really nice ribbon effects. But like I said, I'm going to take a look in the camera in case I need to move it some more. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Let me get a better look. I'm just letting it sit there. More cells are going to pop as the paint form as the paint settles. These are some nice cells in here. There's one nice one. I don't know what that is up there. I need to look and see. I didn't touch the painting. I'm changing gloves. I've got some really nice yellow in there. I have white. I've got that red at the bottom. Or it looks red to me, but we know it's vermilion. Okay, so woo. I don't think it's gonna move. Okay, it's moving a little bit. There's something in there. Dang it. What is that? That's like a piece of paint. I don't know what that came from. I have no idea. Hold on. There was like he didn't seal my... Okay, I like that. But we'll hope it dries okay. Just a little touch right here where I touched it. Everything's covered almost. There's like one spot right here on the side that's now got paint on it. There's some stuff in the back that doesn't have any paint on it. Right here. And I'm just going to leave that. It will continue to change. I don't know, now I think it needs to go more that way. Like that needs to be over more. Eek. Don't know if I can get it to move. I'm going to try this way. It's not moving. It's there. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so this is Valspar Signature paint. It apparently there were skins on it or something inside the paint that when the paint, that maybe there was a skin on it before it was added. I'm not torching it, I just blew on it. I now have some blue cells. All this is kind of spotty down here. There were air bubbles in it. There's a little lump there. Don't know. Alright, so Valspar Signature. I will let you know how it dries. We have GAC 800 in there. Fingers crossed we don't have any crazing. If we're lucky, this will turn blue right here. You can see this is here. We have a gorgeous blue ribbon that goes all the way around with white and yellow. There's some green over here, and then this is vermilion down here. So I will add the dry painting at the end of the video, which you should see now. I'm trying to adjust the light so you can see. So this is Valspar house paint and Artist Loft acrylic. You can see there's some nice cells in there. I hope if it's focusing. I have to hold it steady. It might focus better now. I don't know. Seems to do better when I tilt it. I don't know if it's focusing or not. Okay, this is the painting now that it's dry. As you can see, there are some natural cells over here. I'll put photos at the end of this reveal, I guess. Very nice yellow section over here. Red. I got a nice turquoise ribbon in here. Some of these small dots are from air bubbles, and just some of the denser paint sinking, and then the less dense paint coming to the surface. So this was Valspar Signature. It's in a blue can. You can buy it, or you can buy it at Lowe's. This is what you buy at Lowe's. That's 100% acrylic. And the colors I used were comes in a can like this. They have them behind the register, just to reiterate. $3.50. This color was stained glass. I believe it's a satin finish. And then the other color I used was the yellow color, and that is Gold Seal. So the red you see was Artist Loft paint, and so you can definitely see some yellow and you can see some teal. Obviously, the house paint, or the paint that you would use to cover your wall. You go to the hardware store or home improvement store, the paint you use to cover your walls did not take over the entire painting. So I'll put some photos after this. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like the video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching, share it with your friends, leave comments and questions below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Lots of love. Bye.